Been asked about these egg chairs. I've had quite a few inquiries after posting photographs. People want to see how I do them. They're not straightforward. They're not always the same. There's lots of different manufacturers of these chairs. Some of these, where this one here is like a fiberglass injection molded resin type thing. Some of them are polystyrene. Some of them have a wooden frame. Now, if they've got a wooden frame, that makes life a lot easier. This one isn't. This one's just injection molded. I've missed out the beginning because, being useless that I am, I forgot to do the video. So I'm picking up here now. So I'll explain what I'm going to do. This chair now, I've got a pair of these. This chair, I've got the seat. I've put some polyester wadding on the seat. Now all this foam is going to go. I'm going to get rid of that, but I do it systematically as I'm going along. It's built up of different layers to build up the form of it. So with this, what I've got is the fabric. And with this fabric, I've made a piece that goes in here. So it goes round that shape there. Then I've done a separate arm with a seam coming up here on both sides and then the back. So you'll see how that works now. So there's the fabric. And what I've done with this is I've sewn it so you've got a seam, and then I've overlocked it. Because it's a wool, it's quite liable to fray. So if I overlock it, it's not going to go anywhere. So with this now, I'm getting the rounded bit that goes on the back. And there's the seams that go up the arm. This goes in place here. So I line all that up. Because the seat's got a shape as well, what will happen there is I get that in position. Now this foam will come off later, but this is just an example now of how I'm going to do it. So then you can see how that shape is. And the seat goes in here. Now to get that shape there, what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to fold it back and I'm going to spray glue in here and on the back of the fabric and glue that down. Once that's glued down and in place, I'll replace the foam, then pull this over. Now, because nothing will fix onto this, it's very difficult. What I'm going to rely on for this, to hold all this in place, eventually, is the outside back and outside arm being hand stitched to here, which will hold all this in place. So with this, literally staple it or pin it there just as a temporary measure till you sew the back on. When that's done, this is one that I've got the back on already. So this one's got the seat in place. You can see the seams up here that I've put in. And then with the back on this, I've put new foam on it and I've glued this to it so you can see again, you've got the profile and the shape. I've left the front of the seat loose. And what will happen here now is I'll put the outside arm on, which will come round here, then the seat will go over it. So that's basically at that stage. What I'll do when I get to doing the outside back, I'll show you how I'm going to do that, and then we can take it from there. Right, I'm getting on with these chairs now. Got the inside back and the seat and arms on both the chairs now. I'm putting the outside back on it. The original covers on these were made either out of this, that's a replacement cover, that green one, and this thing is the original. And they were made out of a very, very stretchy nylon. So all these would have had on this, the inside back, so that bit and this bit, all would have been one. There would have been a zip down the back, so you literally would have just stretched it over it, would have pinned into place, zip it on, and that's the way you go. Obviously now with fire regulations, nylon and all the rest of it, don't use any of that. Putting a wool on this one, it's nice to work with. So with this, on these, they've got a mechanism on the bottom. So you've got the wooden legs. I've taken the legs off. I'm going to French polish these, but also this base, this swivel base. All I'm going to do is, I've got some of this. I've got some of this stuff. So what I'm going to do, this is a lubricant. I'm just going to spray it. And inside there, there's some bearings. They're just like roller bearings or ball bearings. Just putting a bit of lubricant on those. when it was spinning before, it was a bit lumpy because it was all dry, and so that's moving nicely now. So I'll polish that before I put it back on. So with this, going back to the chair, I'm going to hand sew this along here. I've pinned it in place. Once that's hand sewn, that's outside arm and inside arm. So these two will theoretically be one once it's sewn. I can pull it down, fasten it at the bottom, and that's the main frame of the chair done. I've put the outside back and the outside arm on now, and it's skewered in place. So I've held all that in place. And all I'm doing now is slip stitching. Now, slip stitching is a type of sewing that is invisible once you've done it, or none of the sewing shows, or the thread. So basically, I've got the thread coming out of there. So I just come out, back in there. So then if I just pull that tight now, that's what you end up with. I have done a detailed video on slip stitching, so if you want to see how to do that in detail, have a look at one of the other videos. I've completed these two egg chairs now, and just to recap what I've done is it's all new foam on it. The seat's glued in here and the back's glued in to give it some shape. I've made a new seat cushion. Just sits in there like that. So the outside arm and the outside back is all in one, and that's all hand stitched down here. The base, I French polished it and oiled all the bearings so it spins nicely now. Both of them are upholstered in Harris tweed, so it's a really good quality tweed that's on there, and the fabric is also ideal for these type of chairs.